The great crystal dome of Zentari Prime stretched high above the assembly hall, where creatures from across the galaxy had gathered. Commander Zelnine stood at the center podium, his blue skin glowing under the soft lights as he looked out at the hundreds of alien delegates. Some floated in the air, others crawled on multiple legs, and a few existed as pure energy contained in glass spheres. All of them had come to hear about the dangerous planet called Earth. Zelnine pressed a button on his control device, and holographic images filled the air above the delegates. The first image showed a blue and green world spinning slowly in space. It looked peaceful from a distance, but Zelnine knew better. He had spent years studying this world and the violent creatures that lived on it. "Fellow beings of the Galactic Federation," Zelnine began, his voice carrying clearly through the dome, "we face a threat unlike any we have encountered before. The third planet of the Sol system harbors a species so dangerous that 3 of our scout missions have vanished without sending a single message back to us." The delegates stirred nervously. Ambassador Quill Prime from the Vorthak homeworld leaned forward on his 6 legs. His large compound eyes reflected the holographic images as new pictures appeared in the air. These showed the creatures called humans engaged in what appeared to be combat training. "Observe their daily activities," Zelnine continued, pointing to images of humans playing football. To the aliens it looked like organized warfare. They watched as armored humans crashed into each other repeatedly, fighting over possession of a small object. They engage in ritual combat from childhood, preparing their entire population for war. The next images showed human soldiers training with weapons. The aliens gasped as they watched humans jumping from aircraft, crawling through mud, and practicing with explosives. On worlds where conflicts were resolved through peaceful discussion, such displays of aggression seem like madness. Their entire society revolves around competition and conflict, Zelnine explained. They have developed thousands of different ways to harm each other. Their entertainment consists of watching others fight or compete in dangerous activities. A new set of images appeared showing humans engaged in extreme sports. Rock climbers scaled impossible cliffs, surfers rode massive waves, and skydivers plummeted toward the ground with only thin fabric to save them. To beings who had evolved on safe worlds with abundant resources, these activities made no sense. Sage Lum 9 of the Ethereal Coalition raised a glowing appendage to speak. "Perhaps these behaviors serve a purpose we do not understand. Many species have unusual customs," Zelnine shook his head. "We have observed them for over a century. Their entire planet is a battlefield. They fight each other, they fight their environment, and they even fight creatures much larger and stronger than themselves for sport. Look at this." The hologram showed footage of humans in metal cages fighting wild animals. The aliens watched in horror as a human faced a massive predator with nothing but primitive weapons. Other images showed humans diving into shark-infested waters, climbing mountains in freezing weather, and exploring deep caves that could collapse at any moment. They seek out danger, Zelnine said. When their environment is not threatening enough, they create artificial dangers. They build machines designed to move at deadly speeds, they poison themselves with chemical substances for pleasure, and they deliberately enter situations that could kill them. Ambassador Quill Prime's eyes widened as he studied footage of human warfare throughout history. These creatures have developed weapons capable of destroying their entire planet, yet they continue to build more. How have they not eliminated themselves? That is what makes them so terrifying, Zelnine replied. They are nearly impossible to kill. Their bodies can survive damage that would destroy most life forms. When injured, they become more aggressive. Rather than retreating, they heal quickly and return to fighting. The hologram displayed medical footage showing human recovery from severe injuries. Aliens who required months of careful treatment to heal from minor wounds watched humans walking again days after breaking bones. The regenerative capabilities seemed almost supernatural to species with more fragile biology. War leader Gox 4 of the Hegemony Alliance stood up, his armored form towering over nearby delegates. If they are so dangerous, why have we not acted to contain them? Zell-9 activated another set of images showing human technological development, because they are advancing too quickly. In just 100 of their years, they went from primitive flying machines to space travel. Their weapons technology follows the same pattern. They learn from conflict and become stronger. The final images showed human space missions and their early attempts to leave their planet. Several delegates backed away from the holographic display as they realized the implications. They will not remain on their world much longer, Zell-9 warned. Once they achieve interstellar travel, they will spread throughout the galaxy like a plague. Their aggressive nature and rapid adaptation make them the greatest threat the Federation has ever faced. The assembly hall fell silent as the delegates absorbed this information. Finally, Sage Lun-9 spoke again. What do you recommend, Commander? Zell-9 looked around the hall at the gathered representatives of dozens of peaceful civilizations. We must declare Earth a quarantine world. No Federation ship will approach their system. We will maintain observation posts at a safe distance, and hope that they destroy themselves before they reach the stars. The vote was unanimous. Earth would remain Forbidden's territory until the human threat could be properly assessed. None of the delegates realized they had just made the biggest mistake in galactic history. Captain Jake Morrison floated in the observation deck of the International Space Station, watching Earth slowly rotate beneath him. The blue marble looked peaceful from this distance, but Jake knew that down there, 7 billion humans were going about their daily lives completely unaware that they were being watched by alien eyes. He adjusted the long-range sensor array and frowned at the readings on his screen. "Lisa, come take a look at this," Jake called to Dr. Lisa Chun, who was working at the biology station nearby. She pushed off from her workstation and glided over to join him at the sensor console. Lisa studied the data streaming across the monitors. Her expertise in xenobiology had prepared her for many things, but the readings she was seeing defied explanation. "That signature is definitely artificial," she said, pointing to the energy patterns on the display, "and it's massive." 6 months had passed since the Galactic Council had declared Earth a quarantine zone, but the Zentari Exploration Guild had convinced their government to authorize one final reconnaissance mission. Captain Keth 7 commanded the sleek vessel as it approached the outer edge of the Sol system, its advanced sensors scanning everything in their path. Down on Earth, the massive radar installations at NORAD were picking up something unprecedented. General Peter Hayes stood in the command center, watching technicians scramble to analyze the incoming data. The object was still beyond Pluto's orbit, but it was clearly heading toward Earth at a speed that conventional human technology could not achieve. "Get me the president," General Hayes ordered, his voice tight with concern. Within minutes, secure communication lines were buzzing between world capitals as leaders tried to comprehend what they were seeing. President Helen Carter sat in the Situation Room surrounded by her top advisors. The holographic display showed the path of the unknown object as it moved steadily through the solar system. Defense Secretary Richard Brown leaned forward, studying the trajectory calculations. "It will reach Earth orbit in approximately 18 hours at current speed," he reported. "Whatever it is, it's bigger than anything we've ever built." Meanwhile, Captain Keth 7 was experiencing his own concerns as his ship's sensors analyzed the third planet in detail. The electromagnetic signatures coming from Earth were unlike anything in their databases. The planet seemed to be covered with artificial structures and energy sources. Most disturbing were the orbital objects that appeared to be weapons platforms. "The inhabitants have weaponized their orbital space," reported his science officer. "Vex 3. We are detecting multiple artificial satellites equipped with what appear to be kinetic projectile systems." Keth 7 examined the data with growing unease. These humans had not only reached space but had already begun militarizing it. The Zentari captain had hoped to make peaceful contact, but the evidence suggested he was approaching a fortress world. On the space station, Jake and Lisa continued monitoring the approaching vessel. The object was now close enough for visual confirmation, and what they saw made both humans stare in amazement. The ship was enormous, at least 2 kilometers long, with a hull that seemed to shift and change color as they watched. "It's beautiful," Lisa whispered, forgetting for a moment that this might represent humanity's first contact with an alien civilization. Jake was more practical. He activated the station's emergency communication system and began transmitting to every space agency on Earth. "All ground stations, this is ISS. We have confirmed visual contact with an unidentified vessel of non-terrestrial origin. Repeat, we have first contact." The message sent shockwaves through every government on Earth. Fighter jets scrambled from air bases around the world while naval vessels moved to defensive positions. President Carter authorized the activation of every military satellite in orbit, while General Hayes coordinated the largest defensive operation in human history. Captain Keth 7 decided to make his intentions clear. Following standard Galactic Federation protocols, his ship began transmitting mathematical sequences and universal constants, prime numbers, pi, and basic physical laws were broadcast on multiple frequencies in an attempt to establish communication. The human response was not what he expected. Instead of mathematical replies, Keth 7's sensors detected multiple high-velocity objects launching from the planet's surface. The humans were sending weapons toward his ship. "Evasive maneuvers," Keth 7 ordered, but he was more confused than frightened. Why would the humans attack before attempting communication? This behavior matched the intelligence reports about their aggressive nature, but it still seemed irrational. To demonstrate his peaceful intentions, Keth 7 ordered his weapons officer to disable several military satellites using low-power energy beams. The Zentari captain believed this would show the humans that his ship was far superior technologically, but chose not to use that advantage aggressively. On Earth, the destruction of military satellites was interpreted as an act of war. General Hayes watched his defense network go dark one satellite at a time. "They're taking out our orbital assets," he reported to President Carter. "This is definitely hostile action." Jake Morrison had a different perspective from his position on the space station. He could see both the alien ship and the approaching missiles that Earth had launched. The alien vessel was holding position, not moving to attack Earth directly. But the missiles would reach it in minutes, and Jake realized that humanity's first contact might end in violence. "Lisa, can we reach those missiles with the ion drive?" Jake asked, studying the trajectory calculations on his screen. Lisa understood immediately what he was suggesting. The space station's experimental ion propulsion system could be used to push space debris into the path of the missiles. It was dangerous and would probably destroy the debris and damage their station, but it might prevent a shooting war between humans and aliens. "We can do it, but we'll have to use the station's main power core," Lisa replied. "If something goes wrong, we could lose life support." Jake made the decision that would echo through galactic history. He activated the ion drive and pushed a large piece of orbital debris directly into the path of the approaching missiles. The collision destroyed 3 of the 5 missiles and sent debris flying toward the alien ship. Captain Keth 7 watched in horror as chunks of metal and what appeared to be pieces of a space station flew toward his vessel. The humans had deliberately damaged their own orbital facility to create weapons. His tactical officer confirmed that the debris contained organic materials, meaning the humans had sacrificed some of their own people in the attack. "They weaponized their own crew," Vex 3 reported, his voice filled with disbelief. "The debris contains human biological signatures." The idea that any species would sacrifice their own members as weapons was so alien to Zestari thinking that Keth 7 could barely process it. His people had evolved on a peaceful world where individual life was precious. The concept of using crew members as ammunition was beyond their comprehension. "Retreat immediately," Keth 7 ordered. "Send a message to Zentari Prime. These creatures are more dangerous than our worst projections." As the alien ship disappeared into faster-than-light travel, Jake and Lisa worked frantically to restore their damaged station. They had no idea that their desperate attempt to prevent warfare had actually convinced the aliens that humans were utterly ruthless. News of the encounter spread through the galactic communication network faster than Captain Keth Seven's damaged ship could return to Zentari Prime. The hyperspace relay stations carried the report from system to system, and with each transmission, the story grew more terrifying. By the time the message reached the Outer Rim territories, humans were being described as a species that ate their own young and used family members as ammunition on the trading station called Nexus Hub. Aliens from dozens of different species gathered in the central marketplace to discuss the shocking news. The hub floated in neutral space between three major trade routes, making it the perfect place for information to spread quickly. Bartender Glimate served fermented algae drinks while his customers shared increasingly wild stories about the death world called Earth. "I heard they fight giant predators for entertainment," said a crystal-based life form called Nex 4, his voice chiming like broken glass. "They build arenas specifically for watching their own kind get eaten alive." The story had started from surveillance footage of human gladiator movies and professional wrestling, but by the time it reached Nexus Hub, the aliens believed humans regularly fed volunteers to monsters for public amusement. None of them understood the concept of fictional entertainment. Nearby, a gas-breathing methane dweller named Zorp2 shared even more disturbing intelligence. "My cousin works on a monitoring station near their system," he wheezed through his breathing apparatus. "He says they deliberately poison themselves with toxic chemicals every day and somehow survive." This rumor had grown from observations of humans drinking alcohol and caffeine to species whose biology could not process such substances. The daily consumption of coffee, beer, and medicine seemed like evidence of incredible toxin resistance or suicidal behavior. Back on Earth, Dr. Lisa Chun led a team of scientists analyzing the alien technology that had been left behind when debris from the encounter fell into Earth's atmosphere. The alien materials were unlike anything humans had ever seen, but that did not stop them from trying to understand how it worked. Engineer Ron Davis took apart every piece of alien technology he could find, using hammers, acid baths, and electron microscopes to study the strange materials. His destructive testing methods were being observed by hidden alien surveillance drones that had been left behind to monitor human activities. Linguist Sarah Kim worked day and night to decode the mathematical sequences the aliens had transmitted. She filled whiteboards with equations and symbols, slowly building a picture of how alien communication systems operated. Her aggressive approach to code-breaking involved trying thousands of different combinations until something worked. The hidden surveillance drones transmitted everything back to their home systems. To alien observers, the human scientific method appeared to be pure destruction. Where other species developed technology through careful observation and harmony with their environment, humans seemed to enjoy tearing things apart to see how they functioned. "They destroy everything they touch," reported Monitor Prime from his concealed observation post on one of Jupiter's moons. "Their learning process involves complete disassembly of any new technology. They appear to gain knowledge through destruction." This fundamental misunderstanding would shape alien perception of humanity for years to come. Species that had evolved to learn through gentle study and meditation could not comprehend a scientific method based on experimentation and testing. Admiral Kate Sullivan received authorization from world governments to begin construction of Earth's first space defense grid. Her engineers worked around the clock to build orbital weapon platforms and early warning systems. The project moved forward at incredible speed as humanity prepared for the possibility of alien invasion. Unknown to Admiral Sullivan, every satellite launch and weapons test was being carefully recorded by alien observers. From their perspective, the rapid militarization of Earth's orbital space looked like preparation for aggressive expansion into the galaxy. Meanwhile, the stories continued to spread throughout alien civilization. On the fungal world of Sporus 7, the collective consciousness that governed the planet received reports about human reproduction methods. The aliens had observed human medical procedures including surgery and childbirth, but completely misunderstood What they were seeing, they cut open their own bodies to remove offspring, reported Scout Spore 99 to the Planetary Mind. The process appears to cause great pain, yet they repeat it regularly. Some individuals undergo this procedure multiple times. The concept of cesarean section births was so foreign to species that reproduced through spores or energy transfer that they interpreted it as evidence of human brutality toward their own children. On the water world of Aquaprime, the dolphin-like inhabitants shared their own disturbing observations. Navigator Swimsong 7 had studied human ocean activities and reached terrifying conclusions about human behavior. They enter the ocean in artificial skins and swim with predator species, he sang to the assembled pod leaders. They appear to seek out the most dangerous creatures for direct contact. Some humans deliberately swim into waters filled with creatures that could easily kill them. The aliens had observed scuba diving, shark cage diving, and marine biology research. To species that avoided their planet's dangerous areas, human marine exploration seemed like evidence of a death wish or incredible aggression. Dr. Ben Wilson worked at the Antarctic Research Station, completely unaware that his ice core drilling operations were being monitored by alien surveillance. His team extracted samples from deep within the planet's ice sheets. Studying climate data from thousands of years in the past, the aliens watching interpreted the systematic drilling as evidence that humans were willing to damage their own planet for resources. To species that lived in harmony with their environments, the idea of penetrating deep into a planet's surface seemed like planetary abuse. They wound their own world to extract materials, reported Watcher Ice 3 from his concealed position in the asteroid belt. The humans show no respect for their planetary biosphere. They treat their own home as a resource to be consumed. This report would later influence alien decisions about whether humans could be trusted with interstellar travel. Species that had learned to live sustainably on their worlds could not understand a civilization that seemed to exploit its environment so aggressively. The surveillance reports painted a picture of humans as a species that combined incredible toughness with complete disregard for their own safety or environment. Every human activity that aliens observed seemed to confirm their worst fears about this dangerous new species. On the crystalline world of Harmony Prime, the ruling Council of Resonance received all the surveillance data and reached a unanimous conclusion. These creatures represent everything we have evolved beyond, declared Crystal Voice Prime. They are violence, destruction, and chaos given physical form. The Council voted to support any measures necessary to contain the human threat, including preemptive military action if required. Similar votes were taking place on dozens of worlds as alien civilizations struggled to understand what they believed was the most dangerous species in galactic history. Commander Danny Rodriguez led the joint human mission to Mars, where long-range sensors had detected unusual structures buried beneath the red planet's surface. The international crew worked together to excavate what appeared to be an abandoned facility hidden in the valley's Marineris Canyon system. After weeks of careful digging, they finally broke through into a chamber that had been sealed for decades. The facility was clearly alien in origin, with walls that curved in impossible directions and surfaces that seemed to glow with their own internal light. Dr. Amy Foster, the mission's anthropologist, took detailed photographs of strange symbols carved into the walls, while her team set up translation equipment to decode what they hoped would be alien writing. Engineer Pablo Martinez discovered the facility's main computer system, which had been left running in some kind of standby mode. When he managed to activate the holographic displays, the team found themselves looking at thousands of files, containing detailed observations of human civilization spanning nearly a century. "My God," whispered Dr. Foster as she scrolled through file after file of human activities recorded from orbit. "They've been watching us for decades." The files were organized by categories that made no sense to human thinking. Human sports were labeled as combat training protocols, while footage of football games was filed under ritualized warfare preparation. The aliens had recorded every major sporting event on Earth, but their analysis revealed a complete misunderstanding of human competition. Danny Rodriguez found video files showing human boxing matches, mixed martial arts competitions, and wrestling events. The alien commentary described these activities as mandatory combat conditioning for all adult males and systematic violence training for population control. To species that resolve conflicts through peaceful discussion, organized fighting, sports appeared to be evidence of a militaristic society. Dr. Foster discovered that the aliens had also misinterpreted human entertainment media. They had recorded action movies, horror films, and war documentaries, but believed all of these were factual records of daily human life. Science fiction movies were categorized as historical documentation, while superhero films were labeled as standard human physical capabilities. They think we can all fly and shoot energy beams from our eyes? Dr. Foster said, showing her teammates alien analysis of superhero movies. They've been using our fiction as intelligence data about our real abilities. The most disturbing files contained alien interpretations of human emotional expressions. The aliens had studied human facial expressions and body language, but reached completely wrong conclusions about what they meant. Human laughter was categorized as aggressive threat display, while smiling was described as baring teeth before attack. Engineer Martinez found recordings of human music concerts and festivals. The alien analysis described the driving beats and emotional intensity as war songs and battle preparation rituals. They had recorded rock concerts, rap battles, and heavy metal shows, interpreting the energetic crowds as evidence that humans use music to work themselves into violent frenzies back on Earth. Marine Colonel Steve Parker was training the 1st Space Marine unit when long-range sensors detected multiple alien vessels at the edge of the solar system. These ships belonged to different species, all arriving to observe the dangerous humans from what they considered a safe distance. The aliens maintained positions beyond Neptune's orbit, using advanced sensors to study human activities without risking direct contact. The alien observers watched Colonel Parker's training exercises with growing alarm. They recorded humans jumping from aircraft, rappelling down cliffs, and practicing combat maneuvers with live ammunition. To species that had evolved to avoid physical danger, military training looked like evidence that all humans were being prepared for constant warfare. Dr. Amy Foster worked frantically to translate more alien files, hoping to understand how these misperceptions had developed. She discovered that the aliens had completely misunderstood human historical conflicts. They had recorded wars, revolutions, and civil conflicts, but concluded that warfare was humanity's natural state rather than something humans tried to avoid. They think we fight because we enjoy it, Dr. Foster explained to Danny Rodriguez. They don't understand that humans actually prefer peace, but will fight when necessary to protect what they value. The alien files contained detailed analysis of human weapons development throughout history. The observers had watched humans progress from swords and arrows to nuclear weapons, but interpreted this advancement as evidence of humanity's obsession with destruction. They failed to understand that weapons development was often driven by the need for defense against other threats. Meanwhile, the alien surveillance continued to record human activities that reinforced their fears. They observed extreme sports. Enthusiasts based jumping from skyscrapers, surfers riding massive waves, and mountain climbers scaling impossible peaks. To beings that had evolved to seek safety and comfort, these activities appeared to be evidence of a species with no survival instinct. Dr. Ben Wilson's Antarctic research team provided some of the most frightening evidence when alien observers recorded their ice core drilling operations. The systematic extraction of samples from deep within the planet appeared to alien minds as proof that humans were willing to wound their own world for scientific purposes. The aliens watching Dr. Wilson's team could not comprehend the concept of studying environmental history. When they saw humans drilling deep into glaciers and extracting ice cores, they interpreted it as resource extraction that damaged the planetary ecosystem. The idea that humans might be trying to understand and protect their environment never occurred to species that had always lived in harmony with their worlds. Commander Rodriguez discovered alien files containing analysis of human space exploration. The observers had recorded every rocket launch, satellite deployment, and space mission, but misunderstood the purposes behind human space activities. They interpreted scientific missions as military reconnaissance and communication satellites as weapons platforms. They think our space program is entirely military, Rodriguez explained to his team. They don't understand that we explore space to learn and discover new things. The alien files revealed that observers had been particularly disturbed by human treatment of space exploration failures. They had recorded spacecraft explosions, failed missions, and astronaut casualties, but interpreted human responses to these disasters as evidence of callousness toward individual life. The aliens could not understand how humans could mourn their losses while simultaneously planning more dangerous missions. Dr. Foster found the most revealing files in a section labeled Incomprehensible Human Behaviors. These contained recordings of humans engaging in activities that made no sense to alien observers. Rock climbing, skydiving, deep-sea diving, and polar exploration were all cataloged as examples of humans deliberately seeking out lethal situations. For no apparent survival benefit, the aliens had tried to find logical explanations for these behaviors, but failed completely. They theorized that humans might be driven by some kind of death instinct or that dangerous activities were part of human religious practices. The concept that humans might engage in risky activities simply for the joy of challenge and discovery was completely foreign to their thinking. As the team continued translating alien files, they realized that every aspect of human civilization had been misunderstood. Human art was interpreted as propaganda, human science was seen as weapons research, and human culture was viewed as systematic preparation for violence and conquest. The most chilling discovery came when Dr. Foster found files containing alien predictions about human expansion into space. The observers had concluded that humans would inevitably spread throughout the galaxy like a plague of destruction, consuming resources and eliminating any species that stood in their way. Commander, Rodriguez realized that humanity faced a terrible choice. The aliens already feared them based on complete misunderstandings of human nature. If contact was ever established, would it be possible to convince alien civilizations that humans were not the monsters they believed them to be? The Galactic Council reconvened an emergency session as reports flooded in from dozens of different species who had attempted to study humanity from a distance. The Crystal Dome of Centauri Prime had never hosted such a large gathering with representatives from over 200 civilizations filling every available space. Admiral Zeph Prime of the Galactic Defense Force stood before the assembly, his forearms gesturing toward holographic displays that showed increasingly disturbing evidence of human capabilities. Fellow delegates, Admiral Zeph Prime began, his metallic voice echoing through the chamber, we face an unprecedented situation. Every species that has attempted to observe the humans has returned with the same conclusion. They are advancing at a rate that defies all known patterns of civilizational development. The first holographic display showed human technological progress over the past century, from primitive steam engines to spaceflight in less than 200 years, from the first powered flight to landing on their moon in just 66 years. The pattern was unlike anything in galactic records. Sage Lum 9 of the Ethereal Coalition floated forward, his energy form pulsing with concern. Perhaps their rapid advancement is natural for their species. We should not judge them by our own developmental timelines. War leader Gox 4 of the Hegemony Alliance disagreed strongly. His heavily armored form clanked as he moved to the center of the chamber. This is not natural development. No species advances this quickly without external threats driving them. They are a species born from constant warfare and conflict. Admiral Zeph Prime activated new displays showing human weapons development. The progression from simple chemical explosives to nuclear weapons had taken less than a century. More disturbing was evidence that humans had developed these planet-destroying weapons while they were still confined to a single world. They created weapons capable of destroying their entire civilization while they still lived on one planet, Admiral Zeph Prime explained. This suggests either incredible stupidity or complete disregard for their own survival. Intelligence reports suggest the latter. The debate that followed split the council along predictable lines. The peaceful species wanted to maintain distant observation while hoping humans would mature into a less aggressive civilization. The military-minded species demanded immediate action to contain what they saw as an existential threat to galactic peace. On Earth, NASA Administrator Carol Wright stood in mission control watching the final preparations for humanity's first faster-than-light engine test. The technology was based on alien artifacts recovered from the Mars facility, but human engineers had modified and improved the original designs in ways that would have shocked their alien creators. Commander Frank Torres climbed into the pilot seat of the experimental ship Breakthrough, knowing he was about to make history. The fusion of human engineering with alien technology had produced a drive system that theoretical models suggested could achieve speeds the aliens had taken centuries to develop. All systems green, reported Chief Engineer Lucy Adams from her control station. Fusion reactor at optimal temperature, alien drive components showing normal resonance patterns. Carol Wright gave the final authorization for humanity's first attempt at faster-than-light travel. Frank, you are go for FTL test. Take us to the stars. The test was a complete success. Commander Torres not only survived the first human FTL jump, but immediately began analyzing the drive's performance and planning improvements. The jump had taken the ship to the edge of the solar system and back in minutes, a journey that should have been impossible for such a new spacefaring species, unknown to the humans. Alien monitoring stations throughout the outer solar system detected the FTL signature immediately. The news spread through galactic communication networks at light speed, causing panic among civilizations that had assumed they had centuries to decide how to deal with the human problem. They have achieved interstellar capability, reported Monitor Station Alpha 7 to Centauri Prime. Human FTL technology appears to be more advanced than our own initial drives. They have somehow improved upon recovered alien technology. This report terrified alien leaders more than any previous intelligence about human behavior. The combination of rapid advancement and technological adaptation suggested that humans did not just copy alien technology but actively improved upon it. To species that had required thousands of years to develop space travel, human progress seemed impossible. Admiral Zeph Prime received authorization to begin military preparations for what the Galactic Council was now calling Operation Containment. The largest fleet in galactic history began assembling at the edge of human space, with warships from dozens of different civilizations converging on predetermined coordinates. The fleet included the massive dreadnought Harmony's End, a vessel designed to destroy entire planets if necessary. War leader Gox 4 had convinced the Council that negotiation with humans was impossible, given their aggressive nature and rapid technological advancement. We face a choice, War leader Gox 4 had argued before the Council. We can act now while they are still confined to one star system, or we can wait until they spread throughout the galaxy with technology superior to our own. Fleet Commander Velprime took command of the assembled armada with orders to deliver an ultimatum to Earth. The humans would be given one chance to surrender their space technology and submit to galactic oversight, or face the combined military might of 200 civilizations. Back on Earth, Dr. Lisa Shun had been promoted to head the new Department of Xenological Affairs. Her team monitored communications from space and detected the massive fleet assembling beyond Pluto's orbit. The energy signatures were unlike anything in human experience, suggesting weapons technology that could reduce Earth to cosmic dust. They're not here for peaceful contact, Dr. Chun reported to President Carter and the assembled world leaders. The formation patterns and energy readings suggest a military fleet designed for planetary assault. Admiral Kate Sullivan immediately activated Earth's space defense grid, but everyone involved knew that human weapons would be useless against technology thousands of years more advanced. Earth's orbital platforms and missile systems were impressive by human standards but looked primitive, Compared to the alien fleet gathering at the edge of the solar system, the news of the approaching alien armada sent shockwaves through human civilization. Some world leaders called for immediate surrender, arguing that resistance was futile against such overwhelming force. Others insisted that humanity should fight regardless of the odds, refusing to submit to alien domination. Commander Danny Rodriguez returned from Mars with critical intelligence about alien psychology and behavior patterns. His team's analysis of the abandoned facility had revealed fundamental misunderstandings that drove alien fear of humanity. "They don't understand us at all," Rodriguez explained to the emergency session of world leaders. "Everything they think they know about human nature is wrong. They see aggression where we see competition, violence where we see determination, and conquest where we see exploration." Dr. Amy Foster presented her translation of alien surveillance files to the United Nations Security Council. The evidence was overwhelming. Decades of observation had produced a completely distorted picture of human civilization. Every human activity had been interpreted through alien perspectives that could not comprehend human psychology. "They think we're monsters," Dr. Foster concluded. "But we might be able to change their minds if we can establish real communication, instead of letting them observe us from a distance." The debate raged for hours as human leaders struggled to find a solution. Military advisors argued for a preemptive strike against the alien fleet, while diplomats insisted that negotiation was the only path that would not end in humanity's extinction. In the end, President Carter made the decision that would determine humanity's future. Instead of military resistance or immediate surrender, Earth would send a diplomatic mission to meet the alien fleet. Commander Rodriguez would lead the mission aboard the newly constructed ship Pioneer, carrying ambassadors, scientists, and cultural representatives who would attempt to explain human civilization to minds that had completely misunderstood it. The fate of humanity now rested on the ability of a small group of humans to convince an alien armada that everything they believed about the human species was wrong. The alien warning fleet hung in space beyond Mars like a constellation of deadly stars, with over 300 warships from dozens of different civilizations arranged in perfect formation. Fleet Commander Velprime stood on the bridge of the massive dreadnought Harmony's End, watching sensor readings that confirmed the humans were approaching with what appeared to be a single small vessel. "The human ship is transmitting on multiple frequencies," reported communications officer. "Trim 5, his tentacles dancing over holographic controls. They appear to be requesting dialogue rather than preparing for combat." Velprime studied the approaching human vessel with growing confusion. Intelligence reports had described humans as an aggressive species that responded to any threat with immediate violence. Yet they were sending what appeared to be a diplomatic mission toward the largest military fleet in galactic history. Commander Danny Rodriguez piloted the ship Pioneer toward the alien armada, knowing that his small crew represented humanity's only hope for survival. Dr. Amy Foster worked frantically at the communications station, broadcasting mathematical sequences and peaceful intentions in every alien language her team had managed to decode from the Mars facility. Behind them, Dr. Ben Wilson prepared cultural presentations that would hopefully help alien minds understand human civilization. His team had assembled examples of human art, music, literature, and science that showed the creative and exploratory sides of human nature rather than the aggressive behaviors the aliens had focused on. "We're receiving a response," Dr. Foster announced as alien symbols appeared on her screens. "They're asking us to maintain position while they decide whether to communicate or simply destroy us." The debate raging aboard the alien flagship reflected the same divisions that had paralyzed the Galactic Council for months. War leader Gox4 insisted that any human vessel approaching their fleet was a threat that should be eliminated immediately. Sage Lum 9 argued for giving the humans a chance to explain themselves before taking irreversible action. Fleet Commander Velprime made the decision that would change galactic history. "We will allow them to approach under escort. If this is a trap, we can destroy them instantly." If they truly seek dialogue, we owe it to our civilizations to understand what drives this species. The Pioneer was surrounded by alien escort vessels as it approached the flagship, their advanced sensors scanning every component of the human ship. The aliens were amazed to discover that the human vessel contained no weapons beyond basic defensive systems. For a species supposedly obsessed with violence, they had sent an unarmed ship to face the galaxy's most powerful fleet. Commander Rodriguez activated the main communication system as the Pioneer took position near the alien flagship. "This is Commander Danny Rodriguez of the Human Diplomatic Mission. We request permission to board your vessel for face-to-face communication." The request sent shockwaves through the alien fleet. Every intelligence report had described humans as paranoid and aggressive, yet they were volunteering to place themselves completely at alien mercy. The willingness to board an alien ship suggested either incredible stupidity or genuine peaceful intentions. Dr. Foster joined Rodriguez in the shuttle that carried them to the alien flagship, along with Dr. Wilson and a small team of cultural ambassadors. As they passed through the alien ship's docking bay, they marveled at technology that seemed more like art than engineering. The walls curved in organic patterns, while soft lights provided illumination that somehow felt warm and welcoming. Fleet Commander Velprime met the human delegation in a conference chamber that had been hastily modified to accommodate oxygen-breathing life forms. The alien commander's multiple eyes studied the humans carefully, looking for signs of the aggressive behavior that intelligence reports had described. "We have observed your species for many cycles," Velprime began, his translated words carrying undertones of suspicion and fear. "Your behaviors suggest a dangerous tendency toward violence and expansion. We are here to determine whether you pose a threat to galactic peace." Dr. Foster stepped forward, knowing that her next words could determine whether humanity survived the next hour. "Commander, we believe there has been a fundamental misunderstanding. Your observations of our species have been filtered through perspectives that cannot accurately interpret human behavior." She activated a holographic projector that began displaying images of human activities, but with explanations that revealed their true purposes. Sports competitions were shown not as combat training but as channeled competition that reduced actual violence. Extreme sports were presented as individual challenges that pushed human limits without harming others. "You see aggression where we see determination," Dr. Foster explained as images of mountain climbers and deep-sea explorers filled the conference chamber. "You see violence where we see the drive to overcome obstacles and achieve goals that others consider impossible." Dr. Wilson joined the presentation, showing examples of human art, music, and literature that revealed the emotional and creative sides of human nature. The aliens watched recordings of orchestras performing symphonies, artists creating sculptures, and writers crafting stories that explored themes of love, loss, and hope. "Your intelligence reports focused on our conflicts and competition," Dr. Wilson said, "but they missed the creativity and cooperation that drive most human activities. We compete to improve ourselves, not to destroy others." The revelation that began to change everything came when Commander Rodriguez explained human scientific methodology. The aliens had interpreted destructive testing and experimentation as evidence of human aggression, but Rodriguez showed how this approach led to rapid advancement and innovation. "We take things apart to understand how they work," Rodriguez explained, showing recordings of human laboratories and research facilities. "We test materials to their breaking points to learn their limitations. What you see as destruction, we see as the fastest way to gain knowledge." Fleet Commander Velprime consulted with his science officers, who confirmed that human technological advancement did follow patterns consistent with experimental methodology rather than weapons development. The rapid progress that had seemed so threatening suddenly made sense when viewed as the result of aggressive research rather than aggressive expansion. The transformation in alien understanding accelerated when Dr. Foster explained human emotional expressions and social behaviors. Laughter was not a threat display but a sign of happiness and social bonding. Competitive sports were not combat training but ways for humans to challenge themselves while entertaining others. You fear us because you misunderstood our motivations, Dr. Foster concluded. Humans do not seek conflict for its own sake. We push boundaries and take risks because we want to grow, learn, and achieve things that have never been done before. The conference continued for hours as human ambassadors systematically addressed every alien concern and misconception. The discussion revealed that human behaviors that seemed threatening to alien minds were actually expressions of curiosity, adaptability, and the desire for self-improvement. War leader Goxfor remained skeptical until Dr. Wilson showed him recordings of human disaster response and humanitarian aid. The images of humans risking their lives to save strangers, sharing resources with those in need, and working together to overcome natural disasters painted a very different picture than intelligence, REPORTs had suggested. They help others even when there is no benefit to themselves, Goxfor admitted, studying footage of earthquake rescue operations and medical missions. This behavior is inconsistent with the aggressive expansion we predicted. The final breakthrough came when Fleet Commander Velprime asked about human space exploration. Instead of describing plans for galactic conquest, Commander Rodriguez explained humanity's desire to explore the universe and discover new forms of life and knowledge. We want to learn from other civilizations, not conquer them, Rodriguez said. Earth is our home, but the universe is vast and full of wonders we can barely imagine. We hope that someday we might be worthy of joining the galactic community as friends and partners. Sage Lum9 spoke for the Peaceful Coalition when he announced their decision. We have made a grave error in judgment. The humans are not monsters, but a young species struggling with the same challenges every civilization faces. Their rapid development and risk-taking behavior reflect enthusiasm and curiosity rather than aggression. Fleet Commander Velprime faced the most difficult decision of his career. The assembled armada had been prepared to destroy human civilization if necessary, but the evidence now suggested that humanity might become one of the galaxy's most valuable members if given the chance to develop naturally. The fleet will withdraw, Velprime announced. Earth will be reclassified as a developing civilization under galactic protection. We will maintain observation but from a respectful distance, offering assistance if requested but allowing humans to grow at their own pace. As the alien fleet dispersed and returned to their home systems, a new understanding spread through galactic civilization. Humans were not the monsters they had been portrayed as, but a species whose determination and adaptability made them natural explorers and innovators.